The real estate market, is it gonna crash? Is it gonna correct? Or are we just gonna keep on sailing off into the sunset? Here's what I think. So back whenever this whole pandemic started, the feds issued what's called a foreclosure moratorium, which essentially meant that no houses could be foreclosed upon during this pandemic. Now we couple that with forbearance, which meant that, for the people that were affected by COVID, they could actually delay their mortgage payment for however long they needed it. But the only caveat to that is once you didn't need it anymore, you had to come up with all those payments at once. So we couple that with the fact that only 32% of home buyers right now think it's a good time to buy. Now, as all of this whirlwind starts happening, we're going to start seeing a little bit more inventory start to stack up on market. In fact, there's already been more inventory that sits on market as opposed to last month than there is this month. So we are starting to see that little bit of a shift in the marketplace. So we couple all of this whole stuff together and we see that the foreclosure moratorium is going to start getting lifted, right? 95% of people have positive equity in their house. So if they were on forbearance, they're probably going to try to sell. So now we're starting to see a big push of inventory into the marketplace whenever buyers don't really think it's a good time to buy. Well, the transitory buyers, your investors, the real estate investors out there, they're going to start keying in on this. And they're going to realize that there's not as much profit to be made. So they are going to want to sell before the housing market bottoms out. That is where I see the problem. Now keep in mind, this is a completely different situation than it was back in 2008. In 2008, it was super easy to get a loan. Now it's going to be just a little bit harder, right? Maybe a higher interest rate, maybe more down payment. But it is going to change. Now, if we balance that out with the amount of inventory that's coming in, now I think the higher ups within it, they learned from 2008, so they're not going to try to make the same type of mistake. So all in all, I don't think it's going to be a full out crash, right? I don't think property values are going to cut in half like they did back then. I think it's going to correct itself, right? So right now we only have like 20 days of inventory. Now I'm going to see that coming up more and more and more, right? In the next, 3 to 9 months, we're going to start seeing it balance out to where it's more of a balanced marketplace for the buyers and the sellers. Now, that's really where I want it to be. Now, if certain policies get passed and back in like 1987, whenever they did a real estate reform, that's whenever the market crashed. So we really have to look up to what policies are going through the government, because that's going to tell us what's going to happen in the future. So anything that's helpful for real estate investors, it's going to create a better marketplace. Anything that's hurtful could cause us to crash.